Channel 4's coverage of the 2000 presidential election.
This election is between Democratic candidate Al Gore and Republican candidate George W. Bush.
Current Vice President Al Gore is running with Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman. The Texas Governor, George W. Bush, is running with Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney.
This will definitely be a close election and will come down to a few key states.
If you take a look at an electoral college map, we see that Bush has won more states than Gore, winning mainly in the Midwest and the South. However, Gore has won California with 54 very crucial votes, also remaining strong in the Northeast.
We'll definitely keep you posted as the results begin to filter in.
Oh look, this just in. It's a tie between the candidates, each with 242 electoral college votes. It will all come down to Florida.
That's interesting, because Florida is using butterfly ballots, which is a system that may take longer than others to complete.
Interesting. Some of our other channels have reported that Bush has already won the election. However, that has not been confirmed, and we remain neutral.
We also have to account for the absentee ballots that are going to come in from overseas.
Stay tuned to Channel 4's coverage of the 2000 election. I'm Katherine Lynch.
And I'm Christine Sapaniak. Stay classy, America.
And thanks for stopping by.
I'm Natalie Hahn, and I'm on the streets asking people what they think about the presidential election of 2000.
I thought the election the other day was not a fair one because since Florida's machines were not working, then that, and they had to be tallied by hand, would be more of a human error issue being tallied by hand than even having the machines do them. So from a mathematical point of view, I just don't think that it was right.
Oh, hello there. My views on the 2000 election between Al Gore and George W. Bush, I think that it made the United States look very incompetent on counting, but don't get me wrong, I'm still proud to be an American.
I do recall the election of 2000 very clearly because in my experience as a voter, I had never gone through anything like that, nor had anyone else in the country. It was an election that was too close to call. Went to the Supreme Court in December. The Supreme Court decided to uphold the state of Florida's recount, which gave the victory to President George Bush. I remember thinking that in a modern world where we are so technologically savvy, why can't we count? And people still get riled up about it. You know, in any given conversation. Some Thai people made fun of me because I was American and we can't count. So I think it also has created in the country a great divide, very polarized opposites and almost equally split. So I think that election really set a precedent for the country, and it was a very uncertain time, but everyone was very gracious. There was no fighting beyond the Supreme Court decision. So a very historic moment for the country.
So there you have it, some opinions from U.S. citizens about the presidential election of 2000. Now back to you, Catherine and Christine.
Thank you, Natalie. Now let's recap. A month ago, on November 7th, Election Day, it was a heated race between George W. Bush and Al Gore. They both came to a tie in electoral votes, and it all came down to Florida. The next day, Wednesday, November 8th, Gore, believing he had lost, conceded to Bush at about 3 a.m. However, the votes came in so close that he retracts the concession and continued to remain hopeful. On Thursday, November 9th, the next day, Gore requests a hand count of approximately 1.8 million ballots cast in 4 of Florida's counties. Bush tries to block the manual recount, and the war goes on in both federal and state courts. Fast forward to Saturday, December 9th, when the U.S. Supreme Court voted 5-4 to halt the hand recounts. Then, 3 days later, on Tuesday, December 12th, the U.S. Supreme Court rules in Bush v. Gore 7-2 to reverse the Florida Supreme Court, which had ordered a manual recount in certain counties.
That brings us to today, Wednesday, December 13th, where we finally have a president, where Gore conceded and Bush finally accepts the presidency.
I'm glad this crazy fiasco is finally over.
Thank you for watching Channel 4.
final installment of Channel 4's coverage of the 2000 presidential election.
We're here to discuss the changing perceptions of the U.S. after this chaotic event.
This has been an embarrassment for the United States, stirring many global reactions.
It's true. In Tokyo, newsstand posters claimed, "Gore won, didn't he?"
Also, Northern Ireland Secretary Peter Mandelson said, "I would like to be the first from this dispatch box to congratulate the presidential election, whoever he may be."
So, Catherine, do you really think that this will truly change the perceptions of the United States?
Well, right now I think people are concerned and confused. I think they're concerned as to how such a big decision as who's going to be running our country for the next 4 years took so long and came down to such few votes. I think people are confused as to how Al Gore won the popular vote, yet is still not president, losing to Bush because he won the Electoral College, which ultimately decides who is president. I think this will lead to reforms in voting, the voting process, and overall will rehaul the entire system, which I think needs to be a good thing. I think they'll make it more efficient and more accurate, which in the end is a good thing. I think this will always be a blemish on the U.S.'s record book, but in the end we can recover, and we have a president, and we're all set to go.
It's so true. I agree with everything that Catherine's saying. In truth, America will be able to handle the outcome of this election. A country as great as the U.S. can't be pushed down by this small mishap.
Absolutely.
Anywho, thank you so much for stopping by Channel 4. Have a good day.